Thank you, Chairman Naslin. First of all, again, thank you to everybody that's come down, all the countless man-hours that have gone into this over the last several years. I think this has been fully vetted. It's now time to put this on to the City Council for the ultimate decision, and all the same people, I'm sure, will be making the same arguments. It is, I think, a compromise. It's one that I'm struggling with. I certainly also want to take the time to thank specifically Mr. Lewis and his team, Mr. Kuhn, Mr. Zebarth, Mr. Shoemaker, and again, probably a lot of people I didn't take note of their names specifically, but a lot of thought has gone into this. Mr. Jacobs, thank you. I appreciate you staying all day here with us. I'm sure you have other things going back at the shop, so to speak, that require your attention, but you've got an able staff that's, I'm sure, taking care of that. But we appreciate you stepping out, not only in this area of leadership, but elsewhere. And I hope this doesn't discourage you from continued leadership, because we do lack companies like yours in many aspects, but civic leadership is one thing that you guys can be thanked for. So I appreciate that. You know, as far as several of these elements, I'll just kind of go on the record for what it's worth. Cars across the bridge, I'm in favor of that, balancing it. I do know that there's pros and cons, but I'd come down on the side of saying that I think that's what should be done overall. Cars in the plaza, getting rid of those, I think overall that's a good idea, although I certainly would love to see some alternative that allowed for continued vehicles on special occasions or after hours or something. You could go through the arch. So while I'm not a big fan of bollards either, if there is something that can be movable so that, you know, again, it was mentioned about all these roads that are closed, and a lot of them are part-time closures. You know, we don't necessarily have to close this 7/24/365. There might be some event, or, you know, one day a year or something, you know, come drive through the arch or something like that. So I just want to throw that out there as just an idea. Whether it has traction or not, I don't know. I actually would be in favor of parking below the plaza, and I certainly know that there's some challenges to constructions and disruption and so forth, but I think our European friends have been able to do that at some very historical places and bigger challenges than we face. So I would actually like that. I certainly think that would enhance the user experience to be able to get right to wherever they're going. There was a lot of talk about we're all getting older and so forth, so I think, you know, the closer you can get, and I just don't think we'll be able to eliminate cars in the foreseeable future, so I think that's something that would be nice. I understand this alternative before us does not do that, but at some future time down the road, maybe that will become viable as, you know, capacity and so forth comes along. The biggest struggle I have, like maybe a lot of people, is the Centennial Bridge. I'm one that's mentioned several times when you fly into San Diego and you look at California Tower, and I do understand you have to have seat 12F or one of those seats and look sort of back behind you and so forth, but a lot of people do, and I think that you know, I'm really having trouble accepting the Centennial Bridge under any alternative. I guess people are going to have to really prove to me, because I think there's no doubt that this is going to be supported here. Basic math will tell you that there's enough people already on record that this is going to go through, and I'm sure that it will at City Council. So my advice will be, you know, do whatever you can to hide that bridge. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be beautiful in some way and so forth, but to me it does change the look, the character, the feel. I can relate to somebody who said today earlier that, you know, you wouldn't have a bypass bridge of the Golden Gate Bridge or something like that. It does kind of stand out as a bit of an eyesore no matter what you do with it. So I'm reluctant for any kind of a solution with that. But I think at the end of the day, this is the best alternative, the best proposal. I also think from a very pragmatic point of view, there's really not any alternative. And I don't mean this necessarily in a negative way, but just in a pragmatic way. Right now, we have the financial support to do this. And to not accept the financial support before us is essentially to rubber stamp that nothing will be done for a long time. And I'm a firm believer in the golden rule, and that's kind of what applies here. And I respect that. I'm not opposed to that. So those people and benefactors that are stepping forward and saying that, this is the plan we support, we like, and we will fund, I think have earned the right to dictate what we're looking at. And for those, including myself, that would prefer something other than the Centennial Bridge, I didn't bring my checkbook today, and I'm not prepared to write the check to put parking in the ground and come up with some magical plan that would preserve that view from the airplane or from wherever. So I think that I'll probably be a very reluctant supporter of this vote. I mean, I thought of voting, against it on behalf of all those of you as a protest vote, but that doesn't really get us anywhere. And I think my comments have really stated it. I have some reservations, but I think overall that this is the best alternative. And once again, I do think it's extremely important that we thank all those people that have put so much time and effort into this, and the leadership that Mr. Jacobs and his team have put forward too. So thank you again, and I'll give it over to Mr. Golba, who I believe is prepared to make the motion.